Yes, hello, slow. Peace. We missed your call.
Yeah.
Did you and your father put forth a donation?
No, we wasn't told about that.
Yeah, people compensate Dr. Arlene for his time and his wisdom. So what I can do is send you a link, on which you can set up the appointment there. And let me. This is your cell phone?
You haven't heard this, so I
Yeah.
already went live. I know you answering
No,
the
no, no,
phone.
hold on.
Okay, what's your cell number?
917.
Okay.
Matter of fact, just this number.
Did you already start broadcasting?
Yeah, I did.
Go ahead then.
Peace, peace, peace. All right, we're gonna get it popping. And basically, what I'm gonna do is read some info. All right, this is from my book. My wife is co-author. This is called The Divine Hymns of Akhenaten or Ankh-Anten, The Occult Powers of the Psalms. All right, The Art of Candle Burning and the Aroma. All right, and the healing aromas. All right, of incense. All right, so we're just gonna get into the power of the mind. I'm just gonna we're just gonna check out a few chapters. I'm not gonna read the whole thing. All right, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but we're gonna definitely get into some things. All right, so this is chapter 3. The mind is the magic wand. All right. So as we know, energy flows. All right. And as energy flows, thought follows. All right. Or I should say, energy follows thoughts, and thought produces actions. Therefore, the mind is the magic wand. Thus, the magic is mental force. In order to perform magic, one must tap into one's subconscious, which can be used for preferably good, which is protection, financial security, and not evil, harm, revenge. And of course, this depends upon the circumstances. All right. A combination of desires, wants, needs, and a mental intention, willpower is all that is necessary to do magic. If you ask someone else to do magic for you, it is likely that he or she will be able to produce the desired result, or unlikely that he or she will be able to produce the desired results, because the magician does not have the personal connection you have. The need for the magic to succeed, in other words, the urgency, the intent, you need to drive or have a driving force, which is the desire, the need, the want for the magic to work. The universe does not place any judgment on individuals. If your intention is full of sincerity and love, it will be created. You need to believe in it, and you will see the results. If your motive or intentions are pure, the object of your desire, your reason for working the magic, you will need this concentration even before the ritual itself. So we know that there's two components. Peace, 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 everyone. So there's two components. All right. You have high magic. Now, high magic equals ultimately is designed to change the person. thus altering the manifested reality. It involves the science of alchemy. High magic does not typically manifest things. It manifests changes within one's own inner reality and thus changes the outer apparent reality. Now, this is what Raul Nefas stated, or Shechem. If you are not cultivating or manifesting the unifying self-image of the Godhead within you, but instead you are cultivating and manifesting your persona, i.e., your lower self, your ego, then you are a worshiper of a demigod in the nonsense of Western theologians. That's deep. I'm going to say that again. If you are not cultivating and manifesting the unifying self-image of the Godhead within you, but instead you are cultivating and manifesting your persona, i.e., your lower self, your ego, then you are a worshiper of a demigod. Now, who is that demigod? The demigod is what you refer to as Yahweh, also referred to as the Adalabrov, i.e., that is your genes, your DNA. There's 4 basic amino acids that make up, all right, your building blocks of life, of your DNA, all right? This is what is low magic, right? Low magic. Peace, peace, brother Crumb. Peace, brother Self. Magic, right? Which equals designed to change the apparent reality, the illusion, the matrix, through multiple methods. Typically, a low magical working attempts to overpower existing manifestations and thus makes the desired manifestation happen. It's a lot like jamming a radio or a television station so you can put your own signal on top of it. Low magic can be quite effective, but since it is usually only overpowering the normal manifested reality, it is at best what we refer to as temporary, right? So it is at best temporary. The demigod that, all right, we talking about high magic and low magic, all right? So in high magic, check this out. This is what we talking about. This is in my book. It's designed to change the person, thus altering the manifest reality. It involves the science of alchemy, internal alchemy, all right? We're talking about raising yourself from the lead base root chakra, all right, or Shinkara, which is the ancient Egyptian name for chakra. That's where the word chakra comes from within the Sanskrit. It's from Shinkara, all right? Shinkara. Shinkara becomes the word chakra, all right? And it moves up from the base root chakra, which is symbolic to lead, on up into gold, which is to the crown chakra or Shinkara. All right, that is internal alchemy. So that's what you will want to change within yourself. So high magic does not typically deal with manifesting things, all right, external things. It manifests as changes within one's own inner reality and thus changing the outer appearance, all right, apparent reality. Now, I used the quote from Shechem of Shechem, who is known as Raul Nefer Amen of the Asar Set Society. And he said that if you are not cultivating or manifesting the unifying self-image of the Godhead within you, but instead you are cultivating and manifesting your persona, i.e., your ego, your lower self, then you are a worshiper, all right? And you are a worshiper of a demigod, right? And that demigod all right, or what we're talking about is idolobroth, i.e., Yahweh, all right, which is nothing more than your DNA, your maternal or material bloodline. In other words, your identification with the material realm, the physical realm. That's what you are worshiping. And that becomes your God. All right. So this is what this is all talking about. People think idolobroth is some just a spirit outside of you some damn where. No, it's the lower mind. You have the higher mind and you have the lower mind. Okay. The lower mind reflects the external, because as above, so below, as within, so without. The without portion, which the lower mind reflects, is the sun up in the sky. The sun up in the sky is also idolobroth, because idolobroth had 12 stooges and 7 sons. The 12 stooges, as we refer to them as, is the 12 zodiac signs. The 7 sons are symbolic to your chakras, your shinkaras, the Elohim, the 7 archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, right, Azrael, Uri, Raphael, Gimiel, Samuel, and then Uriel. Uriel symbolizes, if you get the book, Dictionary of Angels by Godwin, not Godwin, the Gestalt, the root chakra, all right, is symbolic to Uriel. Uriel is known, that's his Hebrew name, but his Latin name is Lucifer. All right, that's his Latin name, is Lucifer. All right, now Lucifer, or Uriel as we refer to it as, is your root chakra. All right, this is why it speaks about that the devil has horns, as in, well, shit, when you want some, you sexual, you get horny. You get it? That's what takes place. That's what's going on. All right, and that's why that chakra is what color? Red. Just like they told you that the devil is red. He's dressed in all red. He got red horns, red pitchfork, red suit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is where the color red comes from. This is talking about the root chakra, right? Which is Uriel. Uriel position at one time, because it also symbolizes the Kundalini, was here at the third eye chakra. All right, which he was one under Michael, who is the archangel. You see, the archangel, which symbolizes the arc of the head. Right? So he was the second highest in command. That's Lucifer, but he fell. Oh shit, he fell. Oh, thank you, brother Bob. God damn, that's what I'm talking about. Woo! All right. So he fell. All right. And what happened is that when he fell, that abode became the root chakra, hence the abode of hell. All right. So this is heaven. This is earth, which is at the heart chakra. And this is hell, which is at the root chakra. All right. This is what we have to understand. All right. We still taking this shit to be external, and it's not external. All right. Or I should say, it's not just external. There's also a inter, all right, or internal reflection that we got to build upon first. Then we can talk about the external and its correlation. Because once again, the supreme axiom is as above, so below, as within, so without. So first you got to find the correlations within self. Know thyself. That's why that was written all across the temple walls in ancient Kemet. Right. It also represents the 3 Dantian points. All right. You have your lower Dantian, which is right here, right below the navel chakra, which correlates. If you take a belt and go around the back, it will correlate to the sacrum bone, which is the root chakra, where the abode of the Kundalini is. All right. Then you have the heart chakra. All right. In particular, of the back. All right. Which is called the mid dantian. Then you have the third eye in the crown chakra, which symbolizes the upper dantian. In the Bible, oh, thanks, brother Trenton. Thank you. And what happened is that at the top of this particular area in the head, it is known as the upper dantian, but it's also called in your Bible, in the book of Acts, the upper room. So when it says that Jesus met the disciples, and how many disciples? It was 12 in the upper room. All right, those 12 symbolizes the 12 pair of cranial nerves that sits around the pineal gland. And Jesus symbolizes the soul embedded inside of the pineal gland. And it says that Jesus blew upon them and they received the Holy Spirit. So what it's talking about is your pineal gland acting as a downward transformer of electromagnetic energy, and then that energy spreads out into the 12 pair of cranial nerves as it acts down as a step down transformer of this electromagnetic energy in order to illuminate those 12 pair of cranial nerves, and which give you access to what is called extrasensory perception. In other words, what's called ESP. All right. This is what is really talking about. And this is all mentioned in 1 Corinthians 12th chapter, where it talks about that there's 9 gifts. There's 9 gifts of the fruits of Christ, or 9 fruits of Christ. All right. The 9 fruits is miracles, healing, speaking in tongues, interpreting tongues, knowledge, wisdom, or understanding. All right. Along with discernment. All right. So these are the 9 fruits of Christ that is talked about. In other words, you gain what is called psychchemistry, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, clairgestance. All right. These higher sensory perceptions, telekinesis, telepathy. All right. All these types of things. These are the gifts that you receive from your pineal gland acting as a step down transformer, all right, to the 12 pair of cranial nerves. Now, when the last 3 pair of cranial nerves are illuminated, you are able to now go above the clock of destiny, which is the sun up in the sky and the 12 zodiac signs. You are able now to raise yourself above that. All right. And you no longer have to incarnate any longer. There's no longer an incarnation or karma in that regard, because karma comes from the rotation of the sun and the 12 zodiac signs. That's what it comes from. All right. That's where it comes from. It comes from once again, the 12. All right. The 12, what we call the 12 pair of cranial nerves and the 12 zodiacs in the sky, all right, which is all symbolic to the 12 children of Israel, all right. All right, they call them the 12 tribes, or rather we would say the 12 vives, all right. All of that is connected. All of that is talking about the same thing. Right, so after the 3 pair of cranial nerves, the last 3 pair of cranial nerves are illuminated, you no longer have to suffer karma and incarnation any longer. Your Kundalini now can raise up in its full force through the chakra system, which comes up through what is called the Sushumna. The Sushumna is called the hollow area in the spinal column. Through the 31 nerves that is inside of the spinal column, there's a hollow area in there, which is called the Sushumna. Now you have 2 pair nerves, or 2 nerves outside, in which that is called the Ida and the Pingala, all right, which connects to your left and right nostril, all right. And how you know that the left and right nostril are actually activated is because you can breathe through both nostrils at the same time. Without snotting on yourself. All right, that's what's going on. So you're able to breathe through both nostrils. So the Ida and the Pingala are fully activated. Now, when the Ida and Pingala are activated, now the Kundalini can raise up through the Sushumna, which is the third medium or meridian. All right. And now it can go into the area of the head in which that forms that divine radiation of that light, which is called the golden sun disk, which is that halo. And the word halo stems from the word helios. All right, helios is the Latin word. Halo is the Latin word. Helios is the Greek word, and they both come from Heru, which is the Egyptian or Metu Neter. All right, and Heru means sun or day, time. All right, so this sun is what is created above and over the head. All right. Now you have become the Archangel Michael. You get it? Because Michael means in Hebrew, he who dares to be like God. It stems from the Aramaic word, all right, Malik Saduk. Right? Malik. Malik means king. All right. All right. So you now become the king. You now become the sovereign. All right. This is how you become sovereign. All right. So now you become sovereign. You become the king. All right. And so that halo represents that. Yeah, Michael is Melchizedek. Exactly. Because once again, Michael means he who dares to be like God. You are daring to be like God. All right. Melchizedek, all right, is a Greek name, all right, which actually is Greco-Hebrew. All right. Because we know that Greek and Hebrew, that's Phoenician. All right. So Melchizedek, because Melchez, the word Melchez is once again Malik. And then Sedek is Sadok, which is Hebrew. So Malik Sadok is Melchizedek. All right. Which is Mikael. Same. And Mel is the Greek name for what? For the word dark complexion or black. All right. So it's talking about the excretions, all right, of the pineal gland. When your pineal gland is able to secrete this dark chemical, melanin, but it's not just the regular type of melanin. This is DMT, the methyltryptamine that is producing the psychedelic, all right, which give you the ability to have out-of-body experiences, lucid dreams, so forth and so on. All right? To pierce into other dimensions, talk with your ancestors. All right? Peace, Brother Seth. All right? Okay, that's love from LA. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So this is what we are talking about here. All right, this is that's high magic. It doesn't have to do anything with you manipulating anything external. This is all manipulation internally. All right. Then low magic is designed to change the apparent reality or shift the illusion. All right. The matrix through multiple methods. And I'll get to the methods in a second. Typically, a low magical work attempts to overpower existing manifestations and thus makes the desired manifestation happen. A lot like jamming a radio or TV station so you can put your own signal on top of it. Low magic can be quite effective, but since it usually only overpowers the normal manifested reality, it is at best temporary. All right? It's at best temporary. So It says, remember, everything in the personality already is against the desired manifestation. Otherwise, it would exist without the need for additional work. You get that? The establishment, which is the schools, the churches, are all under the control of the government via the Rockefeller clan and Rothschild, so forth and so on, the so-called 13 Illuminati families, the Astors, the Bundys, the Collins, the DuPonts, the Morgans, the Freemans, the Lees, the Van Dynes, the Melvingian, the Canute, the Disneys, and the Reynolds, Russells, all of them, all right? More than is 13 or so. But they do not want you to study, all right, these so-called pseudosciences, because they'll tell you that it's taboo or said tools of the devil. So they'll tell you that mythology and astrology, numerology and tarot, you know what I'm saying? But these are actually more sciences. And they actually tell you more about yourself than any of these one-sided Eurocentralized or Europeanized so-called sciences, right? Because they really dealing with pseudoscience. That's what's really going on. So religion has humanity looking for God inside the sky or within the, up in the sky somewhere outside of themselves. And instead of teaching humanity that the highest truths, the system lies and seemingly refuses to tell people that God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, all dwells within each and every one of us, especially us melanated people. So we know that when you go to Corinthians, it tells you, it's 6:19-20 said, or do you not know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, which is in you, whom you have from God, and you are not your own, for you was bought at a price. Therefore glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's. See, these are things they don't tell you about. Oh yeah, Disney, exactly. They these 13 families are the ones who's pushing the agenda through the media. All right, this is what they're doing. They're pushing the agenda through the media, through the movies, because the TV and the movies are still the largest mind control agent. Right, this is the largest mind control agent, is the TV and the movies. Right, they have done research since the 1950s, and they have still found out that up until now, 2018, still out of all this strategy, the highest thing in which that is for mind control that they can use is television. All right, tell lies to your vision. All right, so yes, they are pushing the LG, TBQPP, whatever else. You know what I'm saying? All of it. They're pushing all of this. So go to 2 Corinthians 6:16-18. Says, for you are the temple of the living God. And it says, I will dwell in them. So God dwells in you. All right. 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 13:5. Do you not know yourselves that Jesus Christ is within you? All right. So once again, you know what I'm saying? It's telling you all it is. Once again, this is my my book. My wife is the co-author. This is our book here, The Divine Hymns of Akhenaten, or Ankh-Unten, The Occult Powers of the Psalms, all right, The Art of Candle Burning, and The Healing Aromas of Incense, all right? Definitely get the book. You can go to our website, www.draleem.com. And I was reading over here, the P's, pansexual. In other words, and pedophilia, right? Exactly. That's exactly what that is, brother. Self, no doubt about it. That's exactly what's going on. And they pushing the pedophilia. This is why there was the whole thing about Pizzagate was to get that, you know what I'm saying, into the people's mind. Right, through the TV, and then come back and say, oh no, that was BS. Oh no, that was fake news. That was all this and all that. That's what they claiming. All right, so I'm gonna read the next chapter, which is dealing with ancestral communion. right? Ancestral communion. This is chapter 4, ancestral communion. In the knowledge that our ancestors we transform a so-called dead relative into a living ancestor, because every person that apparently dies is not considered an ancestor, but a dead relative until those that are living acknowledges and honors the apparent dead in thought and through ritual and or ceremony, deeds and actions. Thereby, the ancestors are kept alive on the various astral planes. The title ancestor is reserved for the deceased that we held in high regard while living on earth. In apparent death, these beings are trusted to provide support and protection from those invoking their spirits. That's low magic, but check this out. Romans 8, 14, 16, 17. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, they are the sons and daughters of God. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ. If so, do we suffer with them, that we may be also glorified together? So that whole biblical joint right there. Oh, thank you, Bonsi. Thank you. Appreciate that. Much respect. All right. This is I'm giving shout outs to those who has given the super chat. I appreciate that. All right. So what we talking about, so even biblically, it talks about the acknowledgement of the ancestors and how we would have to raise together and be glorified together. So you can't think that you're going to be able to do this by yourself and that there's no ancestors, you know what I'm saying, around. It says, therefore, the evolved ancestors, the internal and external DNA, because that's really what you're talking about, are joint heirs with the Christ, the higher mind, and are the mediators, which is talking about the hearts and the essence between man, the lower self, and God, the higher self. All right. So this is why I don't go out to the extreme when we get into the Gnostics information, when we start talking about the Gnostic text and talking about Idolabroth and Yahweh and how it's evil and all it is. All that is talking about evil is nothing but the word live backwards. All right. So let's stop before that nonsense. Right. The only evil is in your mind, in which that you utilize to do whatever evil that there is through your physical body, via your physical body. Right. But first it starts in the mind. So you clear your mind out. There is no evil. Right. It just is. It's just, that's just what it is. So righteous. All right. So you want to deal with righteous brothers and sisters of your family, your aunts, uncles, your mother, grandmother, grandfather, father, whomever is passed on, your brothers, sisters, but they're righteous. You want to make sure that they're righteous in this, you know. And so we're talking about someone who died of old age from natural causes is held in high regard, or someone that died apparently in war for a just cause. Someone that is highly respected, that's followed a defined moral code or passed on the ethnical code of their family, elders, and ancestors before them. Right? They've used that, they use the passed on ethnical codes of the family, elders, and ancestors before them. And they pass it on to us. Well, thank you, T. Dot. Appreciate that. Right? So someone that has children during their lifetimes are expected and is occasionally made for those that are burdened in life, that would be a base on it, on if they did some exceptional work in a community or family. So for someone who did exceptional work, all right, if they did exceptional work, they did fantastic works and deeds, then they definitely would be the individual that you would put upon the altar. All right, no doubt about it. Now, anyone who serves as a link between the living material world and the spiritual worlds, such as a priest, occultist, mystics, metaphysician, someone who's esoteric, who study more science, mediums speaking in tongues, or psychics, prophets, musicians, ritual ceremonies, then they can definitely be, you know what I'm saying, on the altar. But ancestors are known to do the following, all right? Any ancestors that's known to do the following: act as a mediator, the mind memories between man and God, give protection, act on your behalf, and fight your enemies. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. So that you do not have to act except in extreme cases, because there is a time of war. There's a time for war and there's a time for peace. This is Ecclesiastes 3:8. So the ancestors, once you begin to acknowledge them, they'll help you at the same time. And they will give protection and act on your behalf and fight your enemies. Right? This is just what's up. They'll help determine if the person around you are friends or foes. They'll provide perfected insight on matters that has confused you. All right. Also, the ancestors will keep you grounded and connected to family energy. All right. Now, so the following individuals are not considered ancestors, but dead relatives. All right. And these are the individuals: people who've committed suicide, criminals, thieves, murderers, liars, etc. All right. Now, there are certain cases. All right. There are certain cases. Eate Washington Ish. All right. So there are certain cases now in which that this does not apply. And I give a good example. My cousin Tim, he was going around Brooklyn, New York, and probably all over the place robbing and stealing. All right. But I still cut up a picture of him, and I put in that picture, which I cut up because, you know, it had other people that was living on it. So I cut him off the picture and I put him on my altar. Now, when I put him on my altar, you know what I'm saying, I began to start doing my libations and start doing my prayers, which I would read various Psalms. And once again, this book is written because the Psalms are actually the divine hymns of Akhenaten or Ankh-Unten. All right? This is actually what the Psalms are. Right? So when you read the biblical Psalms, you know, people always thinking, burn that Bible and shit. But that's not Negroes always trying to throw the baby out with the bathwater. All right? If you do your research, you find out that the Psalms are actually taken from Akhenaten or Ankh-Unten, who is Amenhotep IV, from the 18th dynastic period of Egypt, Kemet, to Mary. That's where it comes from. All right? Right. The true Psalms is Akhenaten hymns. Exactly. And that's what my book is about. This is what my wife and our book is about. All right? Is explaining this and then giving you the science behind on how to utilize the information using your oils, your essential oils, using your incense, using your altars, and using the words of power of the hymns of Akhenaten or Ankh-Unten. All right. This is why the Masons keep the Bible on their altar at the 133rd Psalm. Because the Psalms comes from out of ancient Kemet, Egypt, to Mary, Kemet. All right. So unrighteous people that have committed suicide, because we talking about confusion, they was confused and they didn't want to be in the flesh. So why would they even want to come and help your fleshly ass? Okay, let's be for real about that. They didn't want to be in the flesh, right? It was too much for them. So they couldn't help you, all right? Now, criminals, thieves, murderers, liars, etc. This would get back to my cousin Tim, because he was robbing and stealing. But guess what? I put him on my altar and I started doing my libations and my prayers. Next thing I know, about a month or two later, ancestors come and I get taken out my body. And I go to his ceremony, his ancestral ceremony. And the ancestors and I didn't even see him at first. The ancestors were standing on side by side like a goddamn Soul Train line. And they were just clapping and yelling like, yay, yay, yay. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And then the entity or the spirit that was next to me, who took me to the ancestor, who took me to the procession so I can see my cousin Tim make the graduation from a dead relative to a living ancestor, you know what I'm saying, was like, shh, here he comes. And then all of a sudden I see my cousin Tim, come down walking, he come down walking down the Soul Train line and shit. Well, I call it Soul Train line, but it was the ancestral line. And he was holding his garments because everybody that was part of the ancestors, they was in like African garb or Native American garb. They was in garbs, you know what I'm saying? And he was in regular clothes, looked like he was like damn near a prisoner. You know what I'm saying? That's what he looked like. But he had his garments in his hands. And as he was walking down, all of a sudden, and you can tell that he was real timid. He was bewildered. He didn't know what the hell was going on. He didn't know what happened. But and so I started saying, Tim, trying to get his attention. So I can tell him, what was going on. That nigga, you graduated. Be happy. You know what I'm saying? Get that bewildered look off your face. And next thing I know, the ancestor said, he can't hear you. So I'm thinking to myself, because I couldn't really see the entity, but I felt him. I felt the entity, all right? Or the ancestor, but I couldn't see the ancestor, but I felt the ancestor, and I knew, and we was able to telepathically communicate. And so I'm thinking to myself, so then I start thinking, what the hell? How the hell you gonna damn bring me to a ceremony and I can't even talk to the nigga? That's how I was like ungrateful, yo. It was ungrateful because I should have been happy the fact that the ancestor brought me in order to see him graduate. But I wanted to talk to him, you know what I'm saying? Because this is the brother that, this is my cousin, my first cousin. I grew up with him. You know what I'm saying? And I was saddened when my mom, called and told me that Tim got killed. So that
also the one who told you about your
yeah. And matter of fact, he repaid me because I helped him get into becoming a living ancestor. He started coming into my readings. All right. I had 2 readings, and in both readings, he started to come into my readings. And the last reading, it was that Friday, March the 18th, when I had my Cavanoma. It was Wednesday. So it was damn the 16th. It was March the 16th. He came into a reading of another person to the sister who gave me, my wife and I, our readings. And he was telling her that, yo, tell him he need to clean out. He need to clean out right now. He need to do it right now. And he was just yelling, And so he was helping me. So not only did I help him by my prayers and incense and, and oils and food and, on my altar, what I'm saying, and the positive words of affirmation and prayers, what I'm saying, on the altar. But in the same regard, he ended up helping me later on. So don't think that the people are just dead and their body is just in the ground. That energy, which is called the electromagnetic or electrons emissions, leave the body upon death. Upon that last breath, the electronic emissions leave the body. And it looks identical to the physical body. Because that's what has been in that template for that 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 some odd years. It's been in the physical body. So it has gotten used to that physical body, the structure of that physical body. So you look identical. All right? You look identical. All right? So this is what happens. So even in some extreme cases, you can put a criminal or a thief on, you know what I'm saying, if you know the individual's heart. if you grew up with that individual and you know that they had a good heart, but just ended up, doing some sad or stupid shit, they can still graduate. And so I knew, thank you, Humble. That's what I'm talking about. Rit Alchemist, word. I like that. Rit Alchemist, I like that. Appreciate you. Thank you. So, general, non-repentive, sociopathic, psychopathic, poor character, promiscuous, cowardly, deceitful, etc. These are the individuals that you don't want on, that's unrighteous, that you don't want on your altar. Young people that died unexpectedly or in tragedy. All right. The reason for that is because oftentimes they'll come back and incarnate again. So, because they just was here in order to finish that lesson from their previous incarnation, right? People that died without children. Now, there are rare exceptions, all right? People that died without children, that's a rare exception, all right? Now, I give a good example. My great aunt, all right? Aunt Agnes, she passed, all right? And she came to me and warned me and told me, that the child that I thought was mine wasn't. Okay. And I didn't get a chance to go to her funeral, but she knew that I loved her. So she came to me, all right, and helped me, figure that out. And even though she never had children, she was able to, from the astral plane, tell me and give me the understanding, overstanding, understanding that the child in which that I thought was mine wasn't. All right. And she did it through a whole dream sequence. And she wasn't even per se in the dream. I just felt her once again, her energy. And I knew that was her because I've been around her damn near my whole life. Okay. So the ancestors play a part in this. All right. It's not the totality. Right. But the ancestors play a part of this. All right. So right here, it says people that did not display wisdom or spiritual understanding, overstanding, or understanding of life, push back the unworthy. You cannot come to my shrine if you are a pedophile, molester, Chester, as we used to call him, committed suicide, died as a child, were a thief, lied a lot, or were overly emotional, were an adulterer, or were an unjust murderer. All right. This is to ensure the protection of those newly into ancestral acknowledgement and building altars or altar building. Okay. So, no, dead relatives are those that are in the afterworld. All right. External DNA. Right, which is nothing but the electrons, the emissions, the electronic emission, or on the astral plane, possibly lower, but receive no honor, no light praise, poems, or sacrifices, etc. They are not consulted, nor are they afforded to direct line or link to the Godhead, so that their living relatives can gain divine insight. Even so, these individuals can be prayed for by those, usually family members and friends, still living on earth to help strengthen them so that their next incarnation, all right, won't be as bad. Okay? So that their next incarnation won't be as bad. And that they will be able to go above their lower selves as they did not do in the last life, right? So if you also said that once the ancestor has resolved their guilt-ridden issues on the astral plane, the collective ancestors that are called or invoking will allow them into the fold, right? So this is what I meant by that. My cousin was allowed into the fold, right? That's what was going on. My ancestors allowed Tim into the fold, into the ancestral fold, transforming from a dead relative into a living ancestor. Okay, that's what's going on. So now, brother Bobby Hemmett, all right, Bobby said that when your relatives die, they go into you. In other words, the ancestors are your DNA or your genes. Hence the word genealogy, Genesis, all of this, etc., etc. All right. Now, I actually was given the privilege by the collective ancestors to witness. This is what I was talking about. In vision, lucid dream, my first cousin Tim Warren, transitioned from a dead relative to a living ancestor. The collective ancestor was standing on both sides of him, clapping and cheering as he walked up the middle of them. He looked bewildered and even somewhat intimidated. Some ancestors are deified that is considered to be reunited with God through either the spiritual growth or epiphany that occurs through some life lesson that changed their understanding, understanding drastically. Sages, avatars, have the option of becoming ancestors. They reincarnate on Earth or on an even higher plane or planet, realm, zone, cosmic zone, all right, gods that resides permanently in the underworld. So you have various levels to this, all right, various levels. So you have those in which that can actually, that has passed form, but they might have developed what is called the resurrection body or what is called the light body, celestial body, incorruptible body, all right, the body of light. And they have the ability in order to come back at will, materialize and dematerialize at will, all right? And you can actually see them, all right? Some ancestors or angels have that ability, all right? Because once you be transformed to a body of light, you are ancestor and you are an angel, all right? And so they can come back and form what appears to be a physical body, okay? And then you have those, and they can actually be, these are avatars or ascended masters, okay? And this is what we're talking about here. And so these ancestors, they have the ability to come back and help you at any given time. You have to learn how to call upon them, all right? Now, of course, it will have to be those in which that you will understand that have mastered and worked to these particular levels. Then are those who have passed on and have reached such a high level that they just continue to work within the underworld, or what we call dark matter, black energy. All right, because remember, the universe is made up of dark matter, black energy, and triple state, which is part of the triple stage darkness, and then the visible plane or the visible world, in which that you have ethereal energy, which is part of that dark energy, black matter, that is even here in the visible spectrum. These are the triple stage darkness that we refer to it as, that the Holy Quran refers to it as. And so some of the ancestors continue just to dwell within black matter and, you know, and black energy, dark energy. They don't want to come back into the light, all right, or what we call, you know, the visible spectrum. Now, what's the visible spectrum? The visible spectrum is based on 7 colors, which is called Roy G. Biv: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. right? All right. So, okay, right here. If you don't know your ancestors, all right, then guess what? It doesn't matter. Call on those who still change your shitty ass diapers. All right. Because guess what? In order to change your shitty ass diapers, that means somebody loved you. All right. Call on those who gave you money. All right. And financially supported you that might have passed on. Right. We all have that dark truth. So, you know, right. If not, call upon those who put their life on the line for you, like Malcolm X, El-Hajj Malik El-Shabazz, all right? Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Prosser, Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, Prince Bey, the Empress, Verdiasi, all right? Call on people who put their life on the line for you, you know, who died getting this truth out to you. That's your family also, right? That's your family also, okay? So the astral energy, all right? Like somebody's brother Self said, Bobby said he taught white people to tap into astral or ancestral plane. What's up with him? Oh, Yogananda. All right. Well, they need to learn how to do that because they are such low creatures, right? Normally, when they pass physical form, they'll dwell within the first and second overtone of the astral plane. There's 7 overtones to each astral plane. All right. All right. So you have, let's say you have your physical body. Above that, you have your ethereal body, which is about 2 to 6 inches above the physical body, your ethereal body. Then you have your astral body, which is your auric field. All right. Then you have even more subtle bodies. All right. You have your, so we went through your physical, your ethereal, your astral. Then you have your mental body, your causal body, all right, your spiritual body, and your soul body. Okay. Right. These are your bodies that you have right here and right now. You're a multidimensional being. All right. You're a multidimensional being. Right. So we think that we only have in one existence, but you have so many, and people should understand that we have more than just one body because your mind can conflict and battle against your emotions. That means that you have more than one body. All right. And both of them can wage war against your physical body. Oftentimes, that's what dis-ease or disease come in at because there's an emotional or mental blockage. Okay. Because the emotions are laid, all right, the various emotions, which creates a chemical response from the brain, lodges itself inside particular organs. Like, for example, fear is lodged in the kidneys. Anger is lodged within the liver. Rejection is lodged within the genitalia. Hatred is lodged within the heart. Stress is lodged within the mind or the brain. All right? Let's just say the brain. So and depression is lodged within the lungs. So each thought has a chemical response. Every thought has a chemical response. And it has an organ in which that it connects to, where that chemical response goes to. And so if you can't clean out, then those chemical responses stay in the body, in which that can cause disease. Thought with the breath. The breath is the mediator between the physical body and the mind. In fact, the breath is the mind in action through the body. So yes, the body can heal the bones as well. All right. And I know that for a fact because I used to have a bone spur right here on my wrist from breakdancing many years ago. All right, because I used to be a break dancer. All right. And so I used to have a bone spur right here, and now it's no longer there. Okay. So yeah, you can heal yourself. All right. Now, how you heal the bones? Additionally, take some herbs. You would take Iris sea moss, bladderwrack, kelp, because kelp helps. All right. So these are the ones in which that you can take in order to help heal the bones and keep healthy. All right, along with magnesium and calcium and zinc in the proper ratio. Yeah, the archetypes depends on which archetypes you're referring to. Smooth, the guard. What archetypes are you referring to in particular? The archetypes, the angels. As in the 72 angels of God, or the 72 demons of the Gaosha, which give you 144. Right, the angels and demons, right. Okay, the book in which that you need in which that goes into detail about that is my other book, which is called The First World Order. Yeah, that's in my book, The First World Order, when I go into the 72 angels and the 72 demons, and they're all of God. So the 72 demons of God is the 72 angels of God, which is 144, which correlates to the 144,000. That's what the 144,000 will actually correlate to. And really, that Gaosha is actually talking about the backside of the body, which is called the tree of life, the tree of knowledge and good and evil. And then the front side is talking about the tree of life. So the tree of knowledge and good and evil symbolizes the spinal column and the nerves as it comes out into the brain, which symbolizes or looks like a tree. Then the front side of the body is nothing more than the tree of life, which correlates. So on the back side, right, the clip off. Right. The clip off is the back side of the human anatomy, the back. That's what that symbolizes. And then at the prostate gland and near the uterus, all right, which is called the Kunta gland, there's 72,000 crystals, right, which symbolizes the 72 demons. Okay. And then as the Kundalini comes up, right, it raises from the Kunta gland. All right. And understand the Kunta gland is actually part of those eight of the 8 dividing cells of mitosis, in which that is lodged within the sacrum bone. That's why the sacrum is called the sacred bone. And the sacred or sacrum is right above the crack of your ass, which is right there at the base of your spine, right above the coccyx. And inside of that bone is the 8 dividing cells of mitosis. And those 8 cells, all right, is where the Kundalini actually reside at. And yes, and that is at 19.5 degrees. If I took a 6-pointed star configuration, and overlay that on your body, at 19 degrees south is where your sacral bone is located at. But at 19 degrees north is where your pineal gland is located at. And in both regards, there will be an upswelling of energy. Now, we know that the pineal gland is half asleep, just like the Kundalini is half asleep. That matter of fact, the Kundalini is wrapped 3.5 times coil at the base of the spine, half asleep. So you have to learn how to activate that Kundalini energy. Now, there's a technique in which that you will learn how to do. All right? In which that was taught to me by my teacher, Grandmaster Sunyata Saraswati. You would breathe in. Hold it and bend forward. Once again, breathe in. Lean forward. That buzzing noise, which is a humming noise, helps activate the Kundalini. And then you going, moving forward, what you're doing is pumping the sacrum bone. You're pumping it. And that is to help the Kundalini wake the fuck up. Okay? So now what happens, it can now move through what is called the Sushumna, the hollow area in the spinal column, right? And when the Kundalini moves up through there, it actually looks like a mercurish, whitish, silvery color, right? This is the same type of beast when you read in the Holy Quran, it talks about that during the night of power, right? During the night of power, Muhammad was taken up into the seven heavens on the beast called the Baruch. And the Baruch means lightning within Arabic. It means lightning. And it says it was white, that this creature was white. So it's talking about white lightning. This white lightning is actually talking about the silvery whitish color of the Kundalini as it goes up through the seven chakras in the spinal column. And the seven chakras are nothing more than the light that is emitted from the seven major endocrine glands in your body. So as it comes up, all right, it comes up and it goes into the brain and it strikes the pineal gland. And when it strikes the pineal gland also awakens. And now the Kundalini is nothing more than the story of Auset in the Kemetic scriptures. That is Auset. And Auset went looking for the body of Osiris or Osar through the seven caves. Those seven caves are the seven chakras. And when she got to the seventh cave, she found most of the body and she brought it back. All right. Now, the body that was, check this out now, the body part that was missing, that was supposedly was eaten by a catfish or a crocodile, all right, or a crab, right? All of these are creatures, all right, that are scavengers in the waters. Was the phallus, right? The penis. Couldn't find that. What that is symbolic to is the calcified penis or the calcified pineal gland, penile gland, right? That's what could not be found because it was calcified. She could not find that because if the Kundalini rises and that pineal gland is calcified, you can spontaneous combust. All right? I'm gonna say that shit again. You don't want your pineal gland calcified because you can spontaneous combust. You can blow the fuck up. 6,000 it's 6,000 degrees temperature in which the Kundalini is resonating at the base of the spine. Your physical body is the burning bush. That's what Moses is talking about the physical body. The physical body is the burning bush. Because your body stays a constant 98.6 degrees temperature. Right? But as that energy comes up, it even goes into a higher. It grows. Once it gets into your auric field, it can go into 2 million degrees. So you think about all that temperature coming up through your body, and melanin is the conductor. The melanin is what is able to help give you that ability of not being able to blow the fuck up. Because guess what? You get the book called her name is Jennifer Reynolds or Randall. Jennifer Randalls. Get the book Spontaneous Human Combustion. In the book, right? In the book, she speaks that there's never been a reported case of so-called black people spontaneous combustion. That all of the cases ever examined, it was white people, pale people, albions. All right? So you don't want your pineal gland calcified, and guess what? They put fluoride in the water, chemtrails in the skies, which has barium, aluminum, and aluminum is forgetful agent. All right, and you don't, and hell, the GMO food, you already know what's going on with that. All right, so they're trying to make your pineal gland calcified so that you won't be able to raise Kundalini. You know what I'm saying? Through the Shankaras. That's what's going on. All right, so that's what it is. All right, so you have to understand the real science here. All right, so in order to decalcify the pineal gland, there are tones that you can use, like the THOH. The I tone. E, the E. The Y, the Y. These four tones activates the pineal gland, pituitary gland, hypothalamus gland, and the thalamus gland. And these glands in your brain are known as the crystal city. Right? Yes, the Om is good. All right? These are what activates. Now the Om activates actually the whole body. Now understand that when you use the Om, remember the old TVs that had their rabbit ear antennas? That gave you what's called VHF, very high frequency. But there was another antenna on the back, which was in a circle or a spiral. That was called the Om antenna. The Om antenna, OHM, the Om antenna. So the straight ear antenna was what is known as very high frequency. That would tap you into very high frequency. That was channel 2 to channel 13. This is for those, this is before the goddamn remote control, y'all. This is back in the days here. All right, if you're under 20, then you'll know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay. Unless your mom and dad just had one of them archaic televisions still in the home, you know what I'm saying, since the 1990s. Now, that antenna on the back is known as the Om antenna, which gave you access to channel U, which would have been our cable back in the days, and that was from channel 14 to channel 83. All right? Now, understand this, is that the Europeans, and which are the Albions, in particular, Albions and the Orientals have straight ear antennas, so they can reach very high frequency, but they can't reach ultra high frequency. That's what the U is for. And the U, and that's what the channel, and that's what the channels 14 to channel 83 is the UHF, ultra high frequency, which uses the antenna, the Om, which uses the Om antenna. And notice the Om antenna is the ancient Egyptian symbol of the Shin Kara, or the Shin, which means spirit. And then is the Omega symbol. All right, it's the Omega symbol, all right, which means the ending. So the Alpha symbol is the VHF, and then the Omega antennas, all right. So the Alpha, which is the rabbit ear antennas, is the Alpha, and then the Omega is the Shin, all right, or the Om channel or the Om antenna, which was at the back. Now, check this out. This is going to get a little bit even deeper. So the Asians and Europeans, Albions, they have straight here. So they can tap into what is known as very high frequency, but they can't tap into ultra high frequency because they don't have the transmissions already for you, already in them, all right, from you. You can already reach that level. So really, they are the third dimensional beings. You are a fourth dimensional being, trapped in a third dimensional apparent reality. All right, once again, you are a fourth dimensional being, apparently trapped in a third dimensional apparent reality. All right, understand this. So they chant Om, the Tibetan, the Jainism, Shintoism, Taoists, the Yogi masters, the Shaolin monks, right? All of them chant Om. All of them chant Om because they're trying to reach your frequency as a fourth dimensional being, which you already naturally is. How I know is because your hair is just like the antenna of the Om antenna, right? I can pull the hair out my beard and it would actually be curled just like what? The Om antenna. So Om is nothing more than a resonant, a sound in which that already taps you into the sixth chakra frequency, the third eye, right here, right there. Right? It's not right here. This is the spirit Thoth. The spirit Thoth is right here. Right? This is why the Buddhists and the yogis and all of them have it right here. The ancient Egyptians have it here. They don't put it here, which is between the eyebrows per se. This is the sphere of Thoth, D-H-H-T-H, Thoth, right? And Thoth means death, D-E-A-T-H, all right? So they don't put the dot here, they put the dot here, above, in the middle. That symbolizes the activation of the third eye. And there's actually are 7 eyes upon the skull that leads to that soft spot in your head, or where that soft spot used to be at. Okay, so understand what what's going on. This is why when the Muslims pray, they go into sajda, and then they receive the mark on their forehead, which symbolizes a third eye. All right, but they don't tap into. You don't tap into. That is called the false sephira, which is here right between the eyes. That's called the false sephira. All right. And if you know anything about the sephiras, which is 10 spheres of light or sephiras on the tree of life, all right. You gotta get your Kabbalistic encyclopedias and books on that. All right. But those 10 spheres symbolizes the 10 areas in the body, actually. All right. You can take the 10 spheres of light and overlay it from Kether down to Malakuth. All right, Malakuth is the kingdom, which symbolizes the genital area, and then Kether is the crown.